Greetings one and all, this is Lloyd Brown and welcome social media family to Lloyd Brown Music. Why you couldn't drink your cup of tea before you start the video like that? What do you, man? Lloyd, we're not coming for watch you drink tea in the bedroom. Well, I can't start my things without it. Anyway, greetings once again. Now, in conjunction with the release and the reissue of the Brown and Bubblers album, I personally want to give my salute to one of the most consistent reggae producers and consistently strong, solid music producers that we have based here in the UK. His name is Carlton Ogilvie. Some people might affectionately know him as Bubblers. I know him as Bubblers the Great Man. Run titles. So here we are in the laboratory once again. I've got some work to do, and if you hear some noise like humming and stuff like that, it's my laundry. It's my laundry kicking off right now because I am not doing no laundry on the weekend. Me nah do it. Sorry. It's aggro. Me nah go.
It's aggro. Me nah go.
For those who are watching overseas who might be asking, well, who's this Carlton Ogilvie? Who's this Bubblers character? Well, just to give you a little short bio, basically, Bubblers is a keyboardist and producer by trade. He was part of the band named Undivided Roots before they reformed into the band Rough Cut, which was the main backing band that backed a lot of the touring Jamaican artists of the day. After that, he's done a lot of producing work from that time with his company that he formed called New Edge Music. He's been doing that ever since. Now, I can't say that I've known him from the year dot, from dirt. I haven't known him that long. I've known him from like the mid 90s, from a personal level. Obviously, I knew Bubblers when he was with Rough Cut and when he was doing all that work with Rough Cut, but I wasn't on a speaking level with him, you know, until it was the mid 90s where, let's just say, the rhythm that connected us in more ways than one was the Lessons rhythm that I recorded for Musclehead for my Rhyme and Reason album. That's what made the connection between myself and Bubblers, and that's all I'm gonna say, because he has highlighted that story in an interview that I've done with him, which I'm gonna talk about further down the line of the video. But anyway, that was my first contact with Bubblers. Since then, it's been safe to say that he has worked on quite a few tracks on my albums since then. But the one thing I really like about Bubblers is that not only the fact that if you ask him to lick over a rhythm, he can do that in his sleep. You want the party time rhythm, it's done. You want the Wolf of Lepers rhythm, it's done. You want the real rock rhythm, it's done. He can do that in his sleep with his feet if he wants to. But the thing that really intrigued me about Bubblers was that it wasn't all just about reggae with him, you know. He liked to fuse a lot of things together. One of the tracks that he produced for my album, I literally asked him if he can build a tune just in minor keys at around 70 BPMs with a pre-chorus as well as a bridge, as well as the verse and chorus. And he done it. And that tune was, what was it? Absent Friends. Great composition. But yeah, Bubblers is one of the few people that is in my inner circle of friends that I can literally pick up the phone and speak with on a musical level. We could just be talking about music for a good hour. I can't say that any conversation that I've had with Bubblers on a meaningful level has been less than an hour. Could talk about music all day, and he's one of those people that I can rap with on that level. Why am I giving him a salute? It's by way of kind of giving you a story as to how this Brown and Bubblers album came to be. It's on the basis that the conversations that we would be having on the phone and him giving me such a rich illustration as to his professional life as a musician and a producer inspired me to do an interview with him. Because it's kind of easy to say who he has not worked with as opposed to who he has worked with within this business. He's built tracks for Barrington Levy. He's done remixes with Sly and Robbie, Simply Red, Annie Lennox, Suggs from Madness. That's just a handful of people. Obviously Maxi, myself, and let's just say the whole reggae fraternity that we have in the UK, Chakademus and Pliers. That's just the tip of the iceberg of the clientele that he's worked with in his illustrious career. So while he's giving me anecdotes of his music producer life, it just inspired me to just say, you know what, I want to do an interview with you, Bubblers, because I think, you know, people need to be inspired by your story. To which he agreed. And I went down to his yard and his studio and we conducted an interview from there, which you can check out on my YouTube channel. It's called In Conversation with Carlton Bubblers Ogilvie. I forget how many parts there is. There's quite a few parts to it anyway, but I've done a playlist that you can access on my YouTube channel. Anyway, so after that was basically done, it was approaching album time for me. I more or less had an album that was finished actually, but I decided that I wanted, I think it was a couple more tracks for Bubblers to feature his tracks on my album. He literally took out a hard drive and I was listening to the tunes on the hard drive and I said, yeah, me want that. Yeah, me want that. Yeah, me like that. No, it's okay. Yeah. No, it's all right. And then something just popped in my head. And I said to Bubblers, brethren, why don't we do an album? And he basically said, yeah, okay, cool. And that's how the Brown and Bubblers album basically started. So it was a case where everything was just split down the middle. You know what I mean? We split the cost on everything, the mastering, the lot, all right? So, but at that point in time, no money exchanged hands whatsoever. You know what I mean? You know, the objective was the product and making sure that the product was basically there and it was constructed properly and it was done and it was a bona fide piece of work to put out there to the masses. And that's what we basically did. But the funny thing was one of the tracks that he played to me, which is now known as Thankful on my album, when I heard that track, the first thing I'm thinking is like, boy, that tune there. Raw, that tune that sounded like it was built for Berris. And Bubblers indeed said, yeah, I made that tune for Berris. So I said, well, how long ago was that? He said it was a while since he built the tune. And I just said to Bubblers, give me the tune. Give me the tune, give me the tune, give me the tune, give me the tune. His plan was to basically have myself, Berris, and Maxi on the rhythm. And for those who know what the rhythm is and for those who know where the rhythms are on our relative albums will know exactly what's happened with that. But yeah, that was basically the plan. That was more or less it, you know, and I voiced all of my stuff here and sent the vocals to Bubblers so that he can basically mix it. Now, I know Bubblers is gonna laugh at this when he sees this, but most things we kind of agree on. But there's one thing that me and Bubblers, we can't agree on, right? And that is the reverb war, right? Bubblers is a man that loves reverb. He loves reverb and echo and delay on vocals. Like, you know, not to the point where the vocals are washed out in the thing, but he loves the reverb and the echo and the delay. Whereas me, the drier, the better, you know what I'm saying? Because in my head, I want to put across my vocals as something that is not being treated to make it sound good. It's just the raw vocal that's there. And if you have to put a little bit of echo and reverb, it's like it's 5% you're getting, 5% wet, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Bubblers is like, Bubblers will go 75% wet, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's a running joke that me and Bubblers basically has. But obviously, because I am celebrating the production skills of Bubblers, it's something that can't be argued. I can't have a Lloyd Brown trait in Bubblers workflow. It just doesn't make sense. That's like me dictating to Bubblers, well, this is all me want it for sound, you know what I mean? So it didn't take long for my argument to literally go out the window. So celebrate his skills I must, and celebrate his skills I shall, and celebrate his skills we have done. So like your voice too dry for a certain tune, man. I can hear him now. But anyway, but yeah, so that's how the album more or less came to be. Now, when the album was basically released, it was on the condition that it would be released on his website, New Age Music, which I never had a problem with, you know what I mean? Because I just thought, well, hopefully I can bring some traffic to his website and the album can gain some kind of traction. And what happened after that, I was just continuing making albums, neglecting the fact that with the subsequent albums that I was going to release through Jetstar, they would be made available on all of the digital platforms. Whereas with the Brown and Bubblers album was only going to be available through his website. And I had people link me and basically ask me, where can I get the album? And I would say, well, you can get it from this website. And then it got to a point where people was asking me, so what, I can't get it on iTunes, I can't get it on Amazon. Is New Age the only place I can get it? And I said, well, yeah, because that was basically the terms and conditions on the release of the album. People went to the website, some people got it, but for some reason, I don't know. It's like the process kind of seems a bit long, even though it's a one-stop shop, as it were, to get that album. But I don't know, for some people it was like, well, if, you know, I can't get it on Amazon and blah, blah, blah. And, I've got to be basically typing out New Age. Is it N-E-W or N-U? And so you can imagine what people are kind of thinking and people are going through just to get an album that ordinarily, if it was on all of the digital platforms, it's just there. In some cases, you don't even have to buy the album because it's literally there ready to stream. And if you've got your subscription in place, it's just there, right? So that's the levels that my music has already been on for a number of years. Now, the whole streaming thing, I'm not going to get into the politics of that. I'm just talking about the Brown and Bubblers album and where it was and why it is where it is now. So as a result of all of that, I simply felt the need to ask Bubblers if I could license the album and in turn sub-license the album to Jetstar, because I think it's an album that's worthy of just getting a listen, at least in the world's market, as opposed to trying to funnel the world's market through a bottleneck to your website. I completely understand the integrity and the principle in all of that, but from a wider perspective, it was kind of long. And it's no disrespect to Bubblers when I said that to him, and he completely overstood. So we decided to make the album available generally across all digital platforms. So that's the reason why we decided to release it that way and reissue it this time around. So just as a footnote to this video, I just want to say there are two extensive interviews. One I conducted with Bubblers himself, and the other that DJ Elaine conducted with me. So the interview with Bubblers is simply about his life, his production life, his music producer life, and with DJ Elaine about my contribution towards the album. And once again, I want to give my salute to Bubblers, the great man. Why are you saying it like that, Lloyd? I'm going to tell you, because every time I go on the phone with Bubblers, from Bubblers say, hello, Bubblers, the great man. Although it's said in a joke fashion, it is really sincere. Bubblers is one of the great producers that we have here in the UK, and to salute him is like, it's minor. It's a minor thing for me to salute him. I wish I could do more, but salute him I must, and salute him I will, and salute him I have. And for those who have not heard the album, it will be available on general release across all digital platforms for your delectation and delight. Please full enjoy the album. It's a small project, but it's a very dear project for me. Any chance I can get to work with a great producer like Bubblers, it's a bonus, it's a blessing. So I want to thank Bubblers for his talent and his time and his skill in what he does so expediently. And I can hear myself waffling. But anyway, it's with that, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu for now. And as always, you don't know the cool people. Please abstain from all kind of foolishness, even your own, even my own. So until we link up next time on another exciting installment of Lloyd Brown Music, people stay blessed. I'm out of here. Maganski. Laters.
Abstain from foolishness.